Hello guys, Yuki here, and today I'm with another video on my YouTube channel. As you can see, on the title is Fury M+ Warrior Guide. I'm gonna be focusing mainly on M+, so we're not gonna talk about the raid at all. Focusing on M+, and this guide is mainly about that and how you can play and how you can improve as a Fury warrior on M+. I'm not gonna be focusing again on raid or as arms. So let's get started. I'm gonna be trying to make it as much as possible a short and simple the guide. I'm not gonna go in fully depth, but I'm gonna give you some basic things that I've learned playing through the game and what I believe is one of the best things that you can do as a Fury warrior and try to min-max everything in every single key. First off, let's begin with the talents. As you can see, these are the talents that I'm using mainly for M+. You can use the exact same talents. Right now you can pause the video and you can copy that and use them on your own. You can do some alterations, some other variations. There's so many things that you can do as a Fury and everything works pretty well, but I believe this one that I'm using right now is actually one of the best for your overall and in every single week. Also for, like, let's say fortified, you can change something else. You can use also Ordinary Fury and the Tank Range or Dungeon Blades as well. It's really good if you think about going with Titan's Torment. This is actually very nice burst damage, and if you have like a huge pack, I believe this one is actually outshining than the Onslaught, although you have to give up either Onslaught or Ravager, which is actually DPS loss if you think about in the long term. But on burst damage, and if you have like a huge pack that you have to deal like a huge amount of damage and your team is actually doing good amount of damage, I believe this one is also a good choice to use as a talent. You can also use Vicious Contempt for actually tyrannical, and for actually more single target damage is very good. You can use anything that you like, anything that you feel comfortable with. Right now, without force and everything, I feel this one is one of the best builds that you can use for Fury and deals the more damage and a steady damage as well overall in any key that you can play. On the warrior points, because we talked about the Fury points and we're gonna talk about the warrior points, the alteration that I'm gonna be suggesting is just using the Inspiring Presence with Stormbolt. Stormbolt, I'm taking it on Fortified, and Inspiring Presence, I'm taking it on Tyrannical Wicks to help a little bit of the healer and stuff in our team surviving with a little bit more healing from the Rallying Cry. You can also remove the Hold Reflexes and get like a bit of immunity if you feel like you need more healing on yourself and stuff. It's actually very helpful. You're gonna give up maybe like 1 second on cooldown on your Raging Blow and Pummel, but it's quite fine. I don't suggest taking Spear of Bastion with Elysian Might. I don't feel like this is good. I don't like you get the gushing wounds and everything, and it helps so much your Thunderous Roar and everything. It's aligned so well, and you have the Thunderous Roar in every 1 minute compared to Spear of Bastion that you have it at 1.5. So that means like in 3 minutes you get only 2 applications of Spear of Bastion compared to your Thunderous Roar that takes like 3 applications, and I believe this is more damage to all of it. This is much the alteration I'm gonna do. You can also take Intimidating Shout. It's actually very well, and you can give up maybe Inspiring Presence with Intimidating Shout as well instead of Stormbolt. It actually helps a lot. These are the talents that I'm using. Again, you can find the same talents in the IP, I don't know how do you call it, on my Discord channel that you will find on the description down below, and you can copy that and you can use it, and you can use my talents, or you can pause again the video and just copy everything that you see in front of your screen. And this is mainly for M+, because in raid I'm gonna be using something else, but in this video I'm gonna be showing you only for M+. I'm not gonna talk about raid, maybe for raid another video and stuff like that. So yeah, now let's head up to pots and gear, actually consumables and everything. What you want to use mainly is because your versatility potion is actually very cheap, and actually having a little bit more versatility helps a lot. So this is actually very nice, very cool. For your weapons, I suggest like Howling Runes, because more haste, it's actually really good. You can use some runes for your mastery if you feel like you're losing some mastery or you don't have enough mastery, but I believe like Howling Runes actually is the best out there. I don't suggest the attack power runes and everything, it's not that good. On your potions, you're gonna be using Elemental Potion of Ultimate Power. You can find them on the auction house right now. You don't have to contact any crafter to craft them, so you can buy them. I believe they're pretty okay-ish in the price, so you can afford them quite easily. On the crafted items though, if you're focusing mainly on M+, because right now I'm progressing with my guild on the raid, I crafted those things, the boots and the belt, that give me shadow flame damage, enchants and stuff like that. These are not optimal, and these are not what I'm suggesting for M+. If you're focusing only on M+, you should be getting Lariat and you should be getting the haste legs, and because of that is you're getting Lariat, and Lariat is actually benefit a lot if you have a lot of gems in your gear, and haste legs is gonna be the best because you're always gonna be taking so many packs and you can chain and stuff like that, so you get the haste buff every single time compared to the raid. That's why I'm using those craft enchants, and you can see that on a lot of warriors right now, but don't be fooled, they are using it because they are progressing on the raid. Once the raid is over, they're gonna be changing into legs and lariat and stuff like this. And for your last third craft item is gonna be the ring, which increases your duration of well-fed bonuses 100%, and it actually persists through death, so it's actually one of the best items that you can get. And I would say like get it on the ring because you can get like mastery and haste very high, and it's actually really helpful to have that because you might die and you need to rebuff again your own food. You don't have to, you will have it through your death. Now we're heading over to enchants. For enchants, it's pretty significant, as you see, like frosted armor kit. I believe like this is better than fierce armor kit on your warrior that you can use. Watcher's alarm on the belts, saddle belt class for the belt, just to get a little more stamina, waking stats and graceful avoidance, and avoidance as well. You can use leech, but I believe avoidance is actually better in the higher keys because your out damage it's gonna be lower on you, so it's actually really good. On your rings and everything else as the gems, you can use mastery or haste, doesn't really matter. You can sim yourself, you can see what is better for you. I believe haste, so I'm putting haste. And on your weapons, you can put either Sophic Devotion, Waftic Devotion, or the new Shadow Flame enchant, which is actually really cool for single target damage. And I believe right now for me it works very well, the Sophic Devotion, because they stuck and it gives me so much more strength than I need, I guess. It's really cool. So yeah. Now for stats, your main stat is always strength. It was always strength, so you have to focus on your strength a lot. I guess everybody knows it. So yeah. Now for your secondary stats, that's the thing. Critical strike, haste, mastery. I'm not gonna say versatility because versatility you don't need to pay a lot of attention on that. Also, a little bit more versatility helps a little bit some situations, but it's not that useful. Anyways, critical strike for Fury, it's non-existent. You don't need critical strike. You like if the lower critical strike you have, the better, because you can add up haste and mastery. If you sim your target and your character, and you see the master is gonna be highest and the haste is gonna be like second for now. Although I would say like between your haste being 30 to 35 and your mastery to 52 to 60, it's always really good to have, and it's actually a very good percentage. So focus on mastery and haste, and all the other things come like very less and very short. Haste, mastery, always the best. Now I'm gonna be talking to you about the trinkets. Now for the trinkets for the M+, there are gonna be so many alterations and so many that you can use. Ignore this trinket that I got. It's a long story, and I'm gonna be saying right now it's that long story short is that I took it from the vault because it was the first vault of the day, and I had like a 447 and I trusted it seems, and it turns out that it's actually quite garbage. As you can see in like an overall, it does between like 4 million to 6-7 million damage per dungeon in 24, 25 or even 26 higher keys, so it's actually pretty garbage. File of Unlimited Blood, it's actually quite good, it helps you a lot. It's actually 1 minute and 30 seconds cooldown, it aligns very good with your cooldowns, and I believe it's one of the best items you can get in mainly N+. There are some other items that I'm gonna be showing you right now from Raid that you can get. I don't gonna be showing you from dungeons because I believe like in dungeons the only good item you can get is a Vial of Unlimited Blood, and we're focusing on M+, so I'm not gonna be showing you from dungeons because there's actually a trinket from dungeon. If you go to Nothorian's Lair, it's gonna be this trinket, the Mark of Dargrul, I believe that's how it's called. It gives you very good single target damage, and it's actually very good for single target, but that's mainly for M+, so sorry, for Raid. So we're focusing on M+, so let's go for Raid, and I'm gonna be showing you what is the best trinket that you can use. It's a good alteration to use Screaming Black Dragon Scale. It gives you Leech and Critical Strike, and also main stat as well, Strength, so you can use that as well. It's from the first boss, quite easy to get, and it's 447 item level, so why not? It's actually quite nice to have a little bit more Leech. and also is used. If you use it, you're gonna be doing some damage, so it's quite fine as a trinket to use alongside with Vial of Animal Blood. Another trinket is Elementium Pocket Anvil. This is quite okay. I don't find it to be that bad. It's quite okay. You can use it. Not much to say about this. Sure. This one, Ominous Chromatic Essence, actually quite good. It gives you flat stat, secondary stat, so quite easy to use, quite good to use, and you can get like a 2% from Haste or Mastery, so thumbs up for this trinket. Is actually something like an icon from season 1. Another trinket, this one is not good. Just keep it entirely. Another trinket that you can use is from Echo of Neltharion. I believe this trinket is actually one of the best, although my seams on Single Dragon doesn't seem that good. It says that it's negative. I believe it's very good because you can use like your area effect spells and abilities have a chance to grant you that amount of strength and increase your damage you receive by 5% for 18 seconds. That means that you can use that if you're gonna use like in every AoE spell, you're gonna be having a chance to trigger this effect from this trinket. So that means like your Whirlwind, your Ravager, your Thunderer, your Spirit Bastion, everything that is related to AoE, and I believe your Heroic Leap as well, because it is AoE as well. You're gonna be triggering that trinket, and you have a chance to get that much amount of strength. The only downside for this trinket is that it doesn't give you any flat main stat strength, so it's quite okay, but it's very good, and I believe this is actually one of the best triggers you can have alongside with Vial of Animated Blood. And from the last boss, the Beacon of the Beyond, is actually quite good. It gives you really good damage if you use Avatar and you have a proc from everything and you have more damage as well. It's gonna be critical. You can critical strike with this one, and you can like do 1 or 2 even million damage with this trinket upon using. It's quite okay. The long cooldown is I don't quite like it. Like I don't quite like to have 2 trinkets that you have on use. I suggest like having 1 trinket passive and 1 trinket on use. It's actually quite good. So I believe like the best combination you can do is Vial of Animated Blood with Neltharion's Call to Chaos, and if you don't want to use or lose any strength, you can take the first trinket from the first boss. It's actually quite okay, and it helps you a little bit on your surviving, and in terms of healing, to heal yourself a little bit on difficult situations. Now for the last part, the race. I'm not highly focusing on this, and I'm just having it on alongside on the end of the video. It's just take any race you want, take any race that you enjoy. It's mainly for your transmog. I choose the race mainly for transmog and maybe some racial abilities. For example, the Night Elf has this Shadow Melt. It's actually quite useful and quite good. It's not seeming that high in terms of race DPS, but it has the Shadow Melt. It's very cool and very helpful on M+. But again, if you wanna enjoy your class and enjoy what you have, I suggest you take any race that you feel comfortable with and you enjoy having it on transmog set and everything, and you enjoy looking at it. If you have a class that actually is ugly, I don't think it's quite good and you won't be liking it. Also, the min-maxing between races is not that much, so it doesn't really matter what race are you gonna be picking. It's always gonna be around your player. The only reason if you want to take any race is because they have some cool racial abilities. For example, the Tauren has nice stomp and more stamina, the Night Elf has Shadow Meld, Mecha Gnome has more strength building up and stuff like this. Always focusing on the racial abilities and not simming on the damage. This is quite important, and always looking to your transmogs and stuff to feel better about your character and what you have to play with. So last thing before we go to rotation, I will say just a controversial actually opinion about raid boats and sims. I would say not to actually focus on the sims a lot. I don't trust the sims that much. Sometimes the sims can be correct, sometimes the sims can be wrong. That means that you should not always trust fully 100% your sims, because they are an automated fight or an automated and scripted thing that you will do on a dungeon. But the dungeon and MEM Plus mainly, it's not automated, it's not scripted. It always has some alterations and a lot of situations, so it's depending on you on the end of the day and how you're going to be using your abilities and everything, and how you're going to be using your trinkets and why you're going to be using them. So I suggest like try to sim everything and just to have a glimpse of what it is and what they do in a fully scripted fight. And alongside with that, you can also test it out yourselves and see what you can use and what you can do in between situations in the dungeon and plus, and then like decide what are you going to be picking from the vault, what are you going to be using, what is your best loot, why not, and stuff like that. I would say like always be cautious about sims because I don't trust them fully. And again, this is a controversial opinion because I believe like there are so many that will be saying that I'm wrong, but I don't really care because I've been bamboozled by the sims so many times when I was picking from the vault that it turned out to be so bad, and I should be thinking about like taking something else instead of what the sims told me to take. So always pay attention and caution to everything and try everything with yourself, not only going on sims, do the sim and then going and taking blindly out of your vault or anything that specific item. Always try it out yourself and have an opinion on yourself. Now let's talk about the rotation. I'm gonna be keeping it very simple and very short. It's not that complicated as a Fury Warrior. You just have to press little buttons in between your rotations and after. So I'm gonna be showing you a simple rotation on how you can use your damage and how you get the most out of it. So for the rotation example, for 5 targets, as you can see here the dummies, there's not so many things to do. It's always pressing your potion first, file of an event blood, like your trinkets, and then your main stat abilities, which is gonna be like Ravager into Avatar into Recklessness. You can use a macro for this to press like one button and then you have Avatar and Recklessness on one button use. I don't use it right now, so unfortunate for that, and I'm really sorry. And you're gonna be using with that specific turn, because if you use Recklessness and Avatar, you don't get the most out of your Avatar and you want to. So because they stack, you're gonna be using Avatar and Recklessness as a second, and that's it. You're gonna be using, as I say, like potion into Trinket, into Ravager, into Charge, into Avatar and Recklessness, into Roar, into getting Enrage. And that's your main stat rotation, and then every single time that you're gonna be playing your main stat abilities, it's gonna be Rampage and Bloodthirst, and you're gonna be using as a healer your Execute on the 20% of your enemy HP, and Regula whenever you have it, and that's it. And your Whirlwind always, when you finishing your stacks, you're gonna be always using Whirlwind to stack it, because it's pretty important to keep your maximum AoE damage. Onslaught, always use it on CD, and that's pretty much it. That's how you play your Fury. That's your rotation. If you wanna try to min-max it again, you're gonna be doing this, like Charge into Enrage, and then into using all of the things that I said before, because you're going to be using it on range, and that's primarily on min-maxing. But again, if you don't think about it on the time when you play keys and you do it like just like this when I show you, it's not going to be changing that much. That is only for min-maxing and how you're going to be using it. Mainly, let's talk about how force it. What you want to do is actually in your AoE, you want to stack a little bit of your Bloodthirst, not that much, not that low though, between like 4 or 5, it's going to be quite good, and you're going to be using it, because also you're gonna keep you want to keep the uptime a little bit on the gushing wounds. As you can see, it's 5 seconds. If you can get that much of a rampage and stuff into keeping your gushing wounds as much as possible, or even if you maintain it only, it's actually quite good, and you want to be doing that. So use your Bloodthirst whenever you have it in like 3, 4, 5 stacks, I believe, and single target you can use it even higher, because you get the most out of your Bloodthirst. Don't wait until you stack it to 10. It's not that quite good, and it's not quite that useful. You're losing a lot of uptime on your gassing wounds, and gassing wounds are dealing a lot of damage. That's pretty much your rotation, and that's what you're gonna use on every single situation AoE. On single target, it's kinda depending on the fight. If it's pure single target, you're gonna be using again all the abilities and all the trinkets and potions that I show you, but this time it a little bit changes into Rampage, into Onslaught, and try to get as many Raptors as you can get. Literally like 5 or 6 stacks, it's quite good. And then just keep your gusting wounds up running as long as you can, because gusting wounds is dealing a lot of damage even on your single target. You're gonna be using a lot of your abilities and try to get the maximum out of range. To get the rage, you wanna be spinning that rage into your rampage all the time. You don't wanna be focusing too much on your slaughtering strikes. The slaughtering strikes is not that important right now with your rampage. Of course you're gonna be using rampage, but you don't have to stack it on 5 stacks. You can use your rampage on 2 or 3 stacks every single time, or even on Rampage. Again, Rampage as well, because you're gonna get like 2 applications of Bloodthirst, and you're gonna use Bloodthirst right after. It's actually quite good damage, and it's actually quite good burst damage and steady damage, as I show you. This is all the rotations you can do as a Fury, and you just have to keep it up every single time with the pack until the pack dies. The pack dies between like 30 to 40, even maximum 1 minute to kill the whole pack. And that's pretty much it, your rotation. I'm not gonna be showing you any other stuff. This is like the simple stuff. I wanna try to keep it like as short as possible and as simple as possible for everybody to understand and what they need to use. And it totally depends on you when you want to use your abilities and your cooldowns. I believe you want to be using your cooldowns, especially Ravager and Recklessness, because you're gonna get them every single like 30 seconds in between, because you're gonna be using a lot of Rampage to get those 2 out of the CD. Rampage is gonna be your mainly ability, as you can see, like in any of the keys. Rampage is always should be your first DPS, not Bloodthirst, not anything else. Rampage should be pumping up, so use your Ravager and Recklessness whenever time you have it up. And for your Avatar and your Trinket and your Theder's, I suggest, like, if you have like a pack for 3 mobs, and then let's say the next pack is having like 8 mobs, just keep them and just use them on the next pack. They're gonna get a lot more value on them than just keeping it and using it on the 3 mobs, and then you don't have it, and you have it on the middle of the pack of the other, or not even. So this is totally depends on you when you want to use your potions, when you feel like you're using your potions and everything. I don't suggest like keeping your CDs too much. Use them whenever you feel like, and use them on CD as much as you can, and on situations that it's gonna be benefiting you and your DPS. Okay, so that was the guide, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to keep it as much as short and as simple as I could. I hope I did that and I achieved that. I didn't want to make it that long. I didn't want to make it like too complicated, going in fully depth and stuff. I just show you what it is and how it feels to play like a Fury Warrior. I might be on the future doing some M+ thingies about like showing you how to play an entire dungeon, and where I'm going to be using my CDs and how I'm using them on a very high key and stuff like that. I might be doing that if you like it. Of course, it's going to be a nice idea on that. M+ has a lot of Spirit Flakes. I didn't show you. I'm gonna be doing a video soon about Spirit Flakes and what you can Spirit Flake on each dungeon. I'm gonna be using that, and I'm gonna be doing it as a video, so be sure to check that out. I'm gonna be streaming a lot. I'm just streaming a lot, so you can find my stream in the description down below. You can find me there. I'm streaming a lot of keys, I'm streaming a lot of raid, I'm streaming a lot of stuff. You can find me online on the Twitch. I hope you come and visit me and have a really good time, and try to use things and everything, and just, you know, have a lot of questions if you have, and have a lot of conversation. Will be nice to do. If you have any suggestions to me, anything that you want to be saying, or whatever you want to be sharing with me, it would be nice. You can find me there. I'm streaming pretty much every single day in between. Sometimes I might be getting some days for rest, sometimes not. It depends. Always check it out. You should be following me there as well, so you don't miss any time of my lives. There is also a Discord server that you can find on the description down below. I'm using it to share my UI, my talents, my weak auras, everything, and also to chat with you guys and have some fun, and also to share our thoughts for the warriors and everything. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope I will find you on my Twitch for live sessions and stuff, and my Discord channel and my server for Warrior Talk, and for anything else between games and World of Warcraft and whatever. Thank you so much for watching this guide. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Tell me if you tried this and how good it is for you, if you learned anything new, if you have something to tell me, anything. I really want to see your comments and everything. I really like to interact with people. And I will be seeing you on next video. Until then, stay safe, boys or girls, I don't know. And thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you're having a pleasant time. Until then, see you guys and have a good one.